May the words of my mouth, the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Are you able to drink the cup that I drink? That's Jesus' question for James and for John and for his disciples. It's his question for you, for me, for anyone who wants to follow him. Can we drink the cup? I think this question goes just right to the heart of the human experience. It's a challenge for the human spirit. Can you drink the cup that Jesus drinks? This cup that he speaks of, it holds love and life. It holds so much love that, like Jesus, you'd be willing to lay down your life. This is a cup that holds pure life, abundant life. Or if you've been to Costa Rica, this is like the Pura Vida. It holds this super abundant life. It's the cup that holds your life. It holds this cocktail, this mixture of unknown proportions of destiny, of free will, of God's will for our lives. And so I think Jesus is asking us, can you drink in life, your life, to the last drop? Will you taste your life, this life, as it really is, and swallow your life whole? All the joy, all the pain, all the happiness, all the hardships, all of it. Jesus asked, are you able to drink the cup that I drink? And his cup, the cup that he drank, we know that cup held his life, which is full of the purest love. His life was full of the purest life, the ultimate purpose. But that cup, his cup, was also laced with suffering, violence, pain, laced with the sin of humanity. The cup that Jesus drank contained both the fullness of God's love and grace and the cross. So that cup that Jesus offers James and John is the cup of whole life, of what Brene Brown calls wholehearted life and living, with all its pain, with all its joy. And the question today is, are we able? Are we willing to drink that? The Roman Catholic priest and author, Henry Nouwen, he's well known for a book called The Wounded Healer, but towards the end of his life, he wrote a little book that I keep going back to. It's Can You Drink the Cup? That's the title. And he says if we're ever going to drink the cup that Jesus drinks, he says first we have to, he has these actions. He says first we have to hold it. He says, and then we have to lift it before we ever gulp it down. And so when we hold the cup that contains life, it means we sit with it. We examine it. We swirl it around. We sniff it. Take a good, long, hard look. And what's in that cup, the one wild and precious life that we have, the life that we're actually living, that takes courage. Nowlan says this. He says, in the midst of the sorrows is consolation. In the midst of the darkness is light. In the midst of despair is hope. In the midst of Babylon is a glimpse of Jerusalem. The cup of sorrow, inconceivable as it seems, is also the cup of joy. And only when, he says, only when we discover this in our own life can we consider drinking the cup. A lot of us here remember Linda Simowitz, who died this past year at the age of 70. And a few months before Linda died, she called me up. She said, I need to make an appointment. And she said, I'm going to need more than an hour. I'm going to need like your afternoon. And so she came by and, she told me to begin with that she had been to the doctor and that her cancer had spread. And that's just like a matter of months. And then she just started telling me about her life. She told me about growing up with her sisters. She told me about her husband, Peter. Told me about his life, their life together. She told me about their travels together. She told me about their professions. And then she told me about his illness and death. And she kept going. It was like these are things that I was just privileged to be told these things that you'd only tell a priest or like one of your closest friends. And if you knew Linda at all, you know that her telling was candid and just very honest. It wasn't sugar-coated, and it wasn't a pity party. In that moment, she was very brave. She was very hopeful. She wanted to go be with Peter. And through all the ups and all the downs that she spoke of in her life, through all the mastery, and through all the mistakes, it's like she was not filled with any kind of pride or boasting about that. Or, on the other hand, she wasn't filled with shame and regret. I think she just worked through this. And she could be a little ornery there at the end. But she never lost her sense of humor. She never lost that hope. She never lost this spark in her eye. Even like on her deathbed, she was still just kind of raising an eye about the nurses in the room. Like, all right. But I remember that day in my study as she just told her life. There was a sense of gratitude, thankfulness. There was a sense, an air of acceptance, of forgiveness. She just kept saying, it is what it is. It is what it is. And this wasn't some sort of like thing where she came in for like a formal confession. What she was doing was she was holding the cup. She needed to look deep into the cup. And she needed someone to be there with her. She needed someone to tell. And she needed to raise the cup with another person to toast her life. L'chaim, to life. I just got to be the lucky guy. To hear people talk of their lives like this is to stand on holy ground. There's nothing more important than to share that kind of life, that kind of meaning, that kind of honesty with others. I hope that everyone in this room, I mean, if you haven't, I'm sure most of you have done this in some form or fashion, but seek that out. Share the cup. You know, to hear someone's story, it's like being offered a sip from their cup. It's like being offered kind of like this, the full celebration of their life and desolation. If you ever wonder what's in that metal cup that we raise every Sunday, I mean, that's it. There you go. It's all the joy. It's all the sorrow. It's all at the same time. It's life. It's like, if you've ever read that book, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, we had to read that when I was, in high school, I think. And then I've kind of read it again and again. I found a hard copy even. But Siddhartha is the main character, and there's this scene kind of at the end of his life when he's old. This is like after his wanderings, all his adventures, like he's sitting there and he's listening to the river. He's sitting by the river and he's just staring at this river that I think symbolically is his life. And Hess writes this. He writes, "Everything together, all voices, all goals, all yearning, all suffering, all pleasure, all that was good and evil, all of it together was the world. All of it together was the flow of events. It was the music of life." The music of life. That's what's in the cup. And so we hold the cup and we listen to the music. And then we raise the cup. We share our lives with others. We toast. We're honest to life. And then, and this is sometimes the hard part, we drink. This is the part where we own our life, where we accept the life that we have. We're like St. Paul in his letter to the Corinthians. We say, "By the grace of God, I am what I am." Drinking the cup is where we say, "This is my life, and I want this to be my life." Not some imaginary, better, different life that doesn't exist. Not a different life in a different body, or a life lived in a different time or a different place, or a life with like a sharper mind or a different purpose. Drinking the cup means we drink in our own life. And sometimes this can be hard to swallow. We hear this challenge from Jesus today to drink the cup, and I can't hear that kind of without fast forwarding to his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane just before the cross. Even Jesus had a hard time when he came face to face with drinking the cup. And so his prayer was, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup. Yet not my will, but yours." Hold, lift, drink. Drinking the cup of life taking in this life, your life. It's about the most hardest and healing thing that we can do. I think it's ultimately the cup of forgiveness. It is what it is. It is beautiful. It is all of it. It is the cup of salvation.